wait a sec, this isn't Game of Thrones. Hi guys, today we're going to be reviewing the first episode of The Last of Us Season 2. I know that on Wednesdays I normally upload a Game of Thrones reaction, but I just got really excited for The Last of Us and thought that I would switch things up a bit. So if you like this content, then I'll keep doing it. If not, then I'll go back to Game of Thrones. So let's crack on with it. If you enjoy this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up and please let me know what you thought to the first episode of Season 2 of The Last of Us. Personally, I was just really happy to see Pedro Pascal again, for the time being. So firstly, you've got to give credit to the beautiful scenery. This is what I thought in the game and also on my TV screen. It's so pretty, you could almost forget that you're living in an infected dystopian zombie land. So we jump straight in, setting the scene. We've got the graves of the fireflies, and at this point we are introduced to some major characters, which I was happy with the casting with. I am quite difficult to please when it comes to casting, but overall, so far so good, I think, for this season. So we are introduced straight away to the plot where Abby is seeking revenge. I like who they casted for Abby. I think she fits the brief pretty well. The only thing is that she is nowhere near as muscular as what the Abby in the game looks like. And I don't believe they're gonna make the actress bulk up to fit that brief. So we shall see. I'm sure she will still be badass. She's just got that look about her, that badassness. I don't have it, but I know a lot of people who do. When Abby's saying, "Oh yeah, I forgot this guy's handsome," in reference to Pedro Pascal. Yeah, this guy is very handsome. There's a huge sense of foreshadowing when she mentions that she's setting out to kill Joel and she's gonna give him a slow death. I feel sad thinking about it. I feel like we're gonna go golfing in the next episode. One thing that I noticed about this episode is that I feel like they might have messed with the timings a little bit. I'm not sure how old everybody's supposed to be because there was a 5-year time jump, but yet nobody seems to have aged. Like, Ellie still looks 12, but I don't know how old she's supposed to be at the moment. So I feel like they've maybe messed with the timings a little bit. It's not a huge thing, it's just something that I picked up on. So at this point I noticed that there's no dilly-dallying. You know, they've jumped straight into the plot. In the game, there's like a little bit more backstory to Abby, and I'm pretty sure you don't know straight away that she's seeking revenge. But literally in like the first, not even third of this episode, we are thrown in the deep end with knowing exactly what Abby's motives are. It sets up the episode, and the whole season actually, being incredibly tense. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier around the time jump. That's fine, I'm not too fussed about the time jump, I think it makes sense. But I'm a little bit confused as to why they didn't make Ellie look older. Because in 5 years, at that age, a lot can change. The only difference was that she went from having her hair tied up most of the time to having it down most of the time. I kept having to remind myself as well in my head that the actress who plays Ellie, Bella Ramsey, is actually 21, which means that she is actually older than what Ellie the character's age is. But she just doesn't look it. She looks a lot younger. And this is coming from somebody who is allowed to say that because I do look a lot younger than my actual age. But that meant if I was an actress, I wouldn't advertise, I wouldn't like audition to play somebody my age because I know I do not look my age. And I feel like that's the same thing as Bella Ramsey. She just looks really young for her age. So I keep having to remind myself, oh yeah, like she can play Ellie, of course she can. She is very similar age to Ellie, but it's just not sinking in. And I just feel like they should have just done something in the hair and makeup department to just make her look like she's aged 5 years. So we then cut to a part of the episode where Joel is having therapy. I was totally going to call him Pedro then. So he's gone all psychologically minded, I'm here for it. But he's still got that like sarcastic humour as well. I also noticed that because of the, I suppose the time of when the like apocalypse happened, it was 2003. And since then things haven't really advanced that much. So I noticed that there was a lot of shame in him accessing therapy, and I feel like that's just very consistent with the time. I feel like that's a good like continuity thing that they did there. So let's talk about the interesting casting for Dina. She does look more like the 19-year-old that she is supposed to portray. I really like this actress. She's charismatic, she's entertaining, she's very expressive on the facial muscles, which means that, yeah, I quite like this actress. I think that they've casted her well so far. We'll see like how else she plays in the upcoming episodes, but so far so good. And I also feel like her relationship with Ellie feels believable. They kind of bounce off each other very well. It doesn't feel forced or like cringy. It felt quite natural. One very, very picky, nitty gritty thing that I loved about this episode is that obviously Joel is seeking therapy from Gail, and she corrected him on her occupation, which I loved. As a fellow psychologist myself, like I don't say that enough on my channel, it can actually sometimes infuriate me when a TV show or adaptation uses the wrong phrase and they'll just use the term psychiatrist for everything when the person isn't. And I just loved that she corrected him and said, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm a psychotherapist. The immediate thing that comes to my mind that does it really badly is the Bond movie with the woman who just seems to be everything. She seems to be a psychologist, psychotherapist, psychiatrist. She's all of the occupations rolled into one, and that just doesn't exist. So it's just something that only someone like me would pick up on and feel recognised for. Kudos to you, The Last of Us TV show, season 2, episode 1. I also liked how real Gail was, kind of being completely open and vulnerable to Joel in that moment. But the only thing is that she says she'll never forgive him for killing her husband. Based on that, I don't think Joel's gonna want to be seeking therapy again anytime soon. Just imagine if you rocked up to a therapy appointment and your therapist said that to you. I don't think he's likely to go to another session anytime soon. But I did like that she set the scene straight for him. She was so blunt in just saying, what, you think you're the only dad who has a 19-year-old daughter who just hates you for no reason? It's basically the norm. Obviously their issues run a lot deeper than that, but on the surface level, he is just the same as every father figure with a teenage daughter. I love how real they've made the locations feel, like the snowy mountains, and I just think that they've brought the game locations to life very well. Some of the scenes were almost like if you put them side by side, they look almost identical, like with the camera angles. Everything just looks very, very similar. And I think that that's like a credit to the TV show. There was a point when Ellie said, you know, you're only 4 years older than us, right? Doesn't look it. Literally looks like it could be 14 years older. Like the age difference is not that much, but the appearances of the actors, there's a vast difference. Just made me chuckle to myself. These are the types of things that make me chuckle. I have a very sad life. Then we come across a decapitated bear and some bear puns, barbecue. I'm here for it. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about in terms of this season is the pacing, because it's no secret that the pacing of the second game is a little bit off in places, and I'm worried about how they're going to adapt that into the TV show. And I did feel like, although this was a great episode, I did enjoy it, I did also feel like it was slow. We were half the episode in before we got any proper action, and I do feel like a lot of the scenes are very, very long and very, very slow. But I don't know, it depends what happens in the episode as to whether that's okay or not. Like if you balance it out with a good bit of action towards the end, then normally that's fine. But if an episode is just going to feel slow the whole way through, then I can kind of tap out of it a little bit and I lose focus. So we shall just see. They did add a little bit of tension though in the scene where Ellie is fighting the infected. I loved the close-up shot of her face. That looked really cool. Again, kudos to the costume, hair, makeup artist department. You made it look sick. I feel like Joel just spent the whole episode being a sad dad. We don't like to see him being sad. And then they had that cute, cozy New Year's Eve dance, which I thought was amazing. It's made me want to go to like a fuzzy, cozy log cabin with fairy lights in the snowy mountains. And when Joel comes in to save the day, when Ellie and Dina have their smooch, very cute, cute AF, but it causes a bit of tension. Now, this was a scene that was a perfect adaptation of the equivalent in the game. Like I mentioned earlier, some of the shots were identical, and I thought it was really well done. Even the dialogue is the same as well. Some of the lines are like pretty much the exact things that the characters say in the games. I just thought it was very, very true to the source material. It was very, very close. I think in this episode, there were very minor changes that I noticed. They didn't adapt like too much away from the game, but like that was just what I noticed. If you noticed anything like big that they've changed that I might have overlooked, feel free to leave it in the comments, because in that episode I thought it was very, very true and close to the source material. So Joel comes in like a badass to save the day, but of course Ellie, being the teenage daughter figure that she is, just gets mad at him for no reason, and it just made me sad again, because I do love Joel. Unfortunately, he is my favourite character.
unfortunately. So overall, final thoughts and conclusions to round up this very quick review. I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was good. I thought it was very, very similar to the game. My only thing that's literally just popped into my mind right now is that I feel like the girl that they've casted to play Abby would actually be a good fit to play Ellie. I do kind of feel like the one they casted for Abby would be a good fit for Ellie, and then they could get someone like beefier and a bit more hench to play Abby. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Obviously, you know, we're 2 seasons in, they're not going to change the actress for Ellie, that's fine. And I do like Bella Ramsey. She's not like who I would initially pick to play Ellie, but you know, that's a topic for season 1. Like, we're over that now. I feel like there were some really cute touches in this episode as well, like little Easter eggs dotted around here and there. And yeah, it was a good start to the season. A little bit slow. I'm sure the rest of the season, well, the next few episodes will be dramatic AF. So those are my very random initial thoughts and feelings on season 2, episode 1 of The Last of Us. In terms of the season as a whole, I'm a little concerned about the pacing, but we will just see. I'm trying not to be too optimistic, but I'm also trying not to be too pessimistic. I'm trying to just sit in the middle, cozy, comfy, in the middle. So I'd love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also let me know if you do want me to continue these reviews of The Last of Us week by week as each episode comes out. Don't worry if you do like the Game of Thrones reactions, I will still be doing them. I just thought to switch it up a little bit with a different series. Jazz it up a bit, you know? Keep things interesting. So I'd love to hear your feedback. If you enjoy my content and you want to see more from me, then make sure to subscribe because it's free and it means that you'll see my videos easier. I also just want to give a huge shout out to the Dragon Riders who are supporting my channel. Thank you so much, it means the world to me. You are so appreciated. If you'd like to have your name featured in my videos like this one, then please consider becoming a Dragon Rider. Or if you'd like to support the channel in any way, then please check out the channel memberships. Thank you so much for watching this random scatty video. I will see you next time, or rather you'll see me, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.